Welcome to Home Cinema and Tech Review. In this video, I'm going to do something crazy that nobody had ever tried. And I'm going to prove it to you why projectors are better than TVs in real life examples. As a 20 years of professional photography life guy with a couple of photo studios, I'm going to prove this with a different light examples. How do we use the light in the studio, and giving you quick examples. They're not going to be too technical just to bother you, and I'm going to prove it to you how that can affect onto the mood of a projector against the TV, and that's why projectors are more special and better on the feeling side. I'm not going to talk about the technical side, but I'm going to talk about some feelings and how they apply. Before that, I'm going to show you the setup. This is the Nothing projector screen, 120-inch USD ultra short throw ALR screen, and plus Epson LS300 Full HD projector. And this is TCL T8B, which I'm going to hopefully review soon. This TV is a 4K 144 Hz QLED TV, 75-inch, and I'm going to hit, like this, start button from each device. Each is running from their internal operating system, but both of them are capable to play 4K. Let me just double check the Epson. I am for sure about the TV. Yes, I'm going to have to put the Epson into the 4K mode because this is a Full HD device. Naturally, it start Full HD. Let's just stop here, 25 seconds. And as you can see, I'm doing everything alive. By the way, in this video, I'm going to show you with the live examples. So it's not going to be showing you TVs because I've did it, TVs versus projector, don't worry. In a second, I will get the camera. This is going to be the just backdrop of our video. Not everything is just about technically picture, let's just say contrast. Not everything is just perfect colors, but it's also about mood. And that's where the projector really shines against the TV. Let me put it into a simpler way. TVs are smaller mostly, and people are telling me that TVs are getting bigger, and everybody knows that. But we got a couple of rules. If a light source is bigger, it's going to get softer. That's why we use soft boxes, huge soft boxes on the photo shoots. And that's why this sort of studio lights, these are portable amateur style lights, okay? This is a 35 centimeter roughly length, and this is like probably again 35 centimeter, but we are using like this style, 120-inch big soft boxes on the studios, and even bigger ones like a whole room style for shooting cars. And when the lights gets bigger and it gets softer. Once you hear that, you might think, okay, TVs are getting bigger, then the light is getting softer. Here is what you will be wrong. Yes, TVs are getting bigger, and bigger light source is kind of like softer, but it's not reflected light. It's a direct light. Let me just explain. You all know by now, right? Since this is running different account, it goes through, so I'm not going to try to match them up, but TV has sort of like LED, even if it's an OLED, every pixel has sort of like a light source at the back of every pixel. Each pixel has its own light source, OLED, AMOLED, or mini LED, I don't know. But even if it's a fluorescent-based light, like a first generation of baddest LCD TVs like this thickness, it doesn't matter. TVs have light at the back and it's coming right to your face, and that's a direct light. Projector, on the other hand, light goes to the screen, bounce back to you. So what does that mean? What's going to apply? Let me explain. So I'm going to take the camera, okay? And I'm going to show it to you. This is a box full of small photo equipment, and I'm going to come right here. Okay, so you're seeing the TV, and sort of like, okay, this is kind of like not a bad idea, right? This is 120 inch, this is a 75 inch. Looks like a toy, but that's not the topic. So I'm going to take these lights and I'm going to prove it to you why direct light is bad. And I'm going to also show and reference the size of the light. This is a photo trick. Let me just stand here. Right now this room has ambient lights and I'm going to close the ambient lights. Ambient lights are closed. The only ambient lights are coming from the back and they're kind of like lighting the entire room, and the camera is auto exposed. So it's going to adjust the light. But what I'm going to do is direct light. This is a flashlight and everybody hates it. This is how it looks. Even the light adjusts. Let's just think about it. This is like a horror movie, right? But think about it like this. I'm going to do something about a reflective light. Look at this. And the camera readjusts to me, and look at it. Because it's a bounce back light, you're seeing the screen, but also the flash is coming to the wall. Wall becomes a big light source, and look at my face. How cool is that? How soft is that? When you get back to this, of course, light adjusts by the camera, but try to concentrate on the softness of it. This is a bounced back light. If it was a bigger light, let's just count it as a bigger light. I'm going to give you the same example. By the way, in order to catch the bigger light theory, you're going to have the same size with the projector, which is probably much more expensive. Take a look at this. This is a flashlight, okay? And I'm going to directly apply it to myself, okay? It's a soft light, by the way. It's a photo light. But when I bounce it back from the wall, how soft is that? Because the size of the light changes around probably 10 times when it bounces from the wall. Further I go, let's go like this. Further I go, camera is automatically adjusting the light. But take a look at this. Light is right to the camera, okay, couple of centimeters closer to the camera, but from the wall it's pretty much way distance, and it's get softer. So closer I get, harsher it becomes, and the further it gets from me to the wall and bounce back to me, softer it gets. You get the idea. But I'm going to repeat this process again with a bigger light. This is a bigger light, okay? Because the bigger the light gets, like a TV, direct light gets better, right? This is the direct light gets bigger. Let me just take this out and apply it in front of the camera. The purpose of this is like creating a ring light effect. Let's take a look at this. This is a ring light effect, and you're seeing every wrinkle that I got. It looks not bad. Eyes are glowing, and that's good looking image. But take a look at this. I'm going to take this light and bounce it back from the wall. Just wait. Camera is going to adjust, and I'm going to get closer with the camera and the light, and I think this is still softer light when you take a look at this. Okay, the other one has some sort of punch, but it's something like digital. You get the idea. I don't want to repeat the same process all over the time. So I'm going to close the lights, okay? Open up the ambient lights. Once you get the idea of camera is trying to adjust, let's go here. And I'm going to open up the Philips Hue lights. Ambient lights are on, and you got the soft light. So I'm going to get back. I'm going to walk with you through here. This is the stage that I put the camera most of the time for the setup. So the visuals are different, that's nice. I'm not going to compare one to another because I did it with a couple of videos. The other thing about the feeling, let's just consider this. How do we define the mood? And in this video, I told you I'm going to focus on the feeling, not just about the perfection. I'm going to go a little bit backwards, like forward in the motion of mine, but I'd like to sit. When you get a bigger image, it's not just about the size, but size is a one thing that people are amazed with, because cars are becoming real-life size cars. Persons like becomes real-life size persons. If you get even bigger, sometimes it could overdo the effect. So there is a percentage of your watching distance and the feeling. Once you are achieving that size, then you're good to go. The other thing is, let's just open up something else. Let's just something like this. Okay, another commercial. Another thing is reflected light has another softness to it, not just because of the size that I showed you with the studio lights. When the reflected light happens, think about it. When you're walking in the street, in a sunny day, or in a dark time, how do you see? You see it with a reflected light, not a direct light. Think about it. The sun is up there, shining on everything, and it bounces back. You don't see a glowing globe style of things if you're not going to look at the sun, if you're not going to look at a bulb, light bulb, or fluorescent, or any kind of light source like we did a couple of minutes ago. So the actual reality in normal life, you don't look at a light source. You look something that is having a light over it, or under it, or right beside it. So basically what we're looking is, oh, it's a bad image. So I don't like that sort of stuff. So yeah, let's go Chicago. At the background, it works. So where was I? Yeah, right. Indirect light or reflected light. Think about it. How do you feel when you look at a moon shining on the sea in a permanent blue night sky? The obvious thing is it gives you feeling. How do you feel when you look at a sun in a midday at 12 o'clock? Well, you probably have your thickest sunglass and you look at a couple of seconds and you look back and you stay away from the sun as much as possible. So think about another scenario. How much do you look at cars' bulbs or front headlights? You don't. How much do you look at a bulb or a fluorescent light directly with your eye? So when people think about or speak about the crazy brightness of extreme nits or lumens, it's not about feeling. It's about technicality. It's, I call, a disease, unnecessary need of light. We can call it, right? Unnecessary, and UNNL. Yeah, it's kind of like a cool name, or much more than needed light, kind of like disease. I could create a name up to it, because this is an obsession of where we call it gas in the camera industry. As a professional photographer, if you judge your camera, if I had a better camera, I would be a better photographer, then it becomes like a gear accusation syndrome. If you had a camera, you could have shot it better, right? No. If you're a good photographer, you would solve it and shot it with the equipment that you got. That's about it. Of course, every equipment has limits, but you don't accuse the equipment, camera, or the lens. You just first look at yourself to solve it. Otherwise, no equipment could solve your problems, even if you got the most expensive one. So about the feeling, if I get back to the feeling, everybody judges the total brightness of the TV, extreme blacks, darkest of blacks of ever, or extreme brightness of 15,000 nits. It sounds cool when you say it so. Oh, projectors can only achieve 1 million to 1 contrast ratio, but my TV got 5 million or even 1 billion to 1 contrast. It doesn't have a feeling. That's what I'm talking about. It's not, okay, it's a topic of apples to oranges, about colors, I know. It's subjective. But sometimes those subjective things explain everything. Let me just give you another idea. How do you feel in the sunrise or sunset? And how do you feel in the brightest time of midday? When the sun goes up high, just the sunrise, it gives you energy. It gives you the potential of a new day. But when you think about a sundown, it goes down and it gives you kind of like sadness, maybe a romantic night, I don't know. But it gives you a feeling. But in the middle of the day, when you look at a sky, if it's empty, if it's not raining, if there's not much of an extreme cloud air around, you wouldn't feel that much of a thing, do you? So the sunset and dusk, or any time in a day, gives different feeling. That's why I'm kind of like a DP guy, of course, with the photography experience. I direct the camera, the lens, where it should be, the depth of field. So main issue, every cinematographer, every director works with a director of photography, and even the colorist later on adds a dimension to the footage or the photos that we see. So what happens, the feeling created with different sections. But the most of the time, it's not just about extreme sharpness, it's not just about extreme contrast or punchiness of the photo. Sometimes you need all these, but sometimes you just need a feeling. And the projector just gives that one thing that is so critical that TVs normally, I'm not going to say that impossible to catch, but they're not going to catch it. Let's just face it. Because one is a direct light to our faces, the other one is a bouncing light. So that's what the main difference is. It's not about the blacks all the time. It's not about the latency all the time. It's not about extreme sharpness all the time. And one more important thing that I want to give it as an example, okay? Not just about the size. We are focusing too much of, like the gear acquisition syndrome again, the new technology of the TVs. But I'm going to repeat some of the stuff that I say over and over in the channel. You can buy a decent TV, 55-inch, 58, 65-inch. But you can buy another projector instead of going highest spec of TVs. That will give you more feeling and in the end of your scenario. How much do you think you will feel special when you're in a dark room filled with friends with your 150-inch projected image? It will look like a cinema if you can achieve that. And it's cheaper than you think. I've explained it in my many videos. And how do you feel if you got a 100-inch TV in the middle of the room, punchy to your face? And the one last thing that I want to repeat, I've created a whole another video about this. Just like this camera, this video is right now shooted in the auto exposure mode. The camera is adjusting through the light. TV is working 50%, projector is working around 70-ish. It's still silent, you can't hear it. It's not the strongest light source of the projector, light level of the projector. But main thing is, I am using this TV in a dark room around 20%, not even 50. Our eyes are very clear and very HDR capable, high dynamic range capable. And when you are in a mid-level of lit room, like a cozy book readable level of light of room, just like this, you don't need extreme brightness. Your eyes are adjusting quite a lot. So that's one of the things that people are telling themselves. Like, you don't need normally an OLED if you're not going to watch it in the fully pitch black room, because when the room gets darker, your eyes adjust to the darkness and open up the exposure, so you see darkness failures, like contrast loss on the darkness more in the dark room. But if you got a lit room, a QLED, mini LED, or standard even good paneled LCD might be okay for you. And one other thing, like I told you in the beginning section of this video, is you don't want to look too much of a bright light right to your eye. Most of the time in outside situations, you get yourself a sunglass. You don't hurt your eye. But when it comes down to the TVs, I don't understand. People just want to feel extreme brightness of light. Just looking at the, let's just say 10,000 nits of TV. It's unnecessary light to your eyeballs. Your eyes can adjust. Let them adjust. Don't use them. I'm not saying I'm not going to upgrade this TV. This is a 1000 nits TV. But I would love to review more TVs in the future. But for now, I think I'm not going to upgrade this because this gets the job done for me. And I'm not so picky about it. But if the companies are sponsoring, I would love to change the TV time to time, but just for test's sake, not a need sake of things. I'm not saying don't buy OLED, don't buy the highest spec TV that you can have. I'm not against TVs, but many of the TV obsessed people are writing comments. It's not about obsession, it's not. And I am not a projector obsessed guy, but I think we're missing the point of being special, missing the point of not needing that much of a sharpness, missing the point of sometimes feeling is more important. And I will close the video with a couple of examples more. Right now what you're seeing is coming from DJI Pocket 3 1-inch sensor camera. But in a professional life of work, I don't use it. I use it Panasonic GH5 with a micro four third smaller sensors like this. Or if I'm going to shoot photo, I will go APC, something like this sensor size, bigger with a better depth of field, focus, out of focus blur effect. And then if I want to get even better, I go to a Hasselblad medium format, something like sensor, like huge, my head size of sensor. But when you want to feel extremely special, you go to a film, an old camera. It's not about sharpness, it's about the feeling of the footage. That's why the Christopher Nolan shot his videos, his movies, a long time with the film, not going directly digital. Because there is such a thing about feeling, and it's more important than the just technical stuff. I am telling you all these things, not just as a tech reviewer, as a professional photographer, camera operator, and kind of like DP and color grader professional with studios. And also I'm telling you this with a person who reviews technology products over 15 years of experience. So it might not suit your needs. You might not still accept what I say, or, we can agree to disagree. You can call me like obsessed with projectors. No, I can agree 115-inch TV could look good, right? If you put it right beside the projector, but it still will not give me the feeling, the softness of the bounce back, natural, native light style to my eye. Because when I'm walking around in real life, and if I live, hopefully, inshallah, tomorrow, I will be walking around and seeing the world through my eyes from the bouncing backlight, not a direct light source. And I'm not going to look direct light sources like bulbs and headlights and sun directly, probably. So I hope this video gave you a perspective. This is not a battle between TV and the projector. For me, this is always special, and this is getting the job done with quite a bit of sharpness and some sort of easiness of it. But I'm going to explain in another video, in a certain size, why TVs starting to fail, and I will explain it in the detail. So, hope to see you in the next video. If you learn anything, if you like this sort of documentary-wise or explanatory tutorial-based videos, and if you enjoy, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and if you can hype it, if there's a button such, you can say hi and comment, because YouTube allows comments to support the channel. And this channel needs your support. It's just running as a hobby for me, but in order to grow the channel, I want your support, likes and subscribes, and also just commenting will get me in the mood to create more. Ask questions that might become tutorials. Hope to see you in the next video. Until the next video from Turkey, before say hoşça kalın, I want to remind you, you can get Full HD good projector with a price probably at least half of the price of a 55-inch TV. And if it's a good Full HD, you can buy it maybe 50-inch TV, 4K TV price, Full HD projector, and it will feel very special. Hope to see you in the next video. Until the next video, hoşça kalın from Turkey. Home Cinema and Tech Review. Bye. And look at these two. Both of them are good on their own ways. Let me know what you think under the comment section below.